Welcome to Real Estate on the Rocks, where you get top shelf real estate conversations served straight up, never watered down. Here's your host, Dave Snowberger.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Real Estate on the Rocks, where you get top shelf real estate information served straight up, never watered down. I'm your host, Dave Snowberger, joined in the studio today with Alicia, Marshall, and James.
How you doing, Dave?
Hey.
Look at that. Peanut gallery. All right. So how was everybody's vacation, how your holiday from the real estate business?
It was too quick, too short. Yeah.
Short.
Week doesn't last long.
You only took a week?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I was off like a month.
No wonder you weren't answering the phone.
No, we worked we had closings right up until New Year's Eve.
Yeah, you closed one on New Year's Eve, yeah?
Actually, yep, right where we're sitting, we closed one that day. So
That's
kind of
exciting.
fun, huh?
Yep.
All right. Well, looking back, once the new year starts, we always start looking back and seeing how 2018, the year in review, was goal-wise. Let's start with you, Alicia. How does it look? I mean, how'd you do in 2018? Did you meet? Did you exceed? Did you fall short? Where are you at on your goals?
I met my goals for 2018, which is really exciting because my first year in real estate was very scatterbrained, if you will. I kept getting distracted, and 2018, I just wanted to narrow my focus and really hit my goals, and that's what I did. So,
Nice.
yeah.
Nice. You want to share those goals? No, not so much. Marshall, how'd yours look in 2018?
Fell short, Dave, but if you're meeting your goals, then you probably didn't have them set high enough to begin with.
Oh, wow. Look at this guy.
And Marshall almost gets knocked
out. James, we can only imagine about your goals.
My goals were
3 points.
Surviving year one. And
And you're here, so good
and
job.
I survived.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually wasn't my goal. Doing more than surviving was my goal, but I survived, so I met maybe a portion of my goals.
Right.
Definitely not all of them.
All right. So just a quick reminder, James is what we consider his nickname is the new guy. So he's been licensed for right about a year. Everybody knows it's a tough climb once you first start getting your license and get going. It can be a tough climb. However, he's around the right company. So
He has a 96% chance of falling out any second now.
Still in
Year
survival
one,
mode.
and you're going to die.
All right, so team goals for us. We once again we fell a little bit short of our goal. We set very big stretch goals for 2018. We did fantastic. I can't complain. We helped a lot of families get into homes, sell homes, invest in property. We, like I always say, we're professional problem solvers. We got to solve a lot of problems in 2018, and to this day, 8 days into the year, we're still solving problems from 2018. So we'll continue to do so. So let's talk about some 2019 goals. What we're gonna set. What's 2019 look like for you, Alicia?
2019, my goal is to hit 10 million and 250 GCI.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nice.
250 GCI.
Yes. And then the main, I am toying with the idea of starting my team or partnering with somebody. So that's another focus as well.
Very nice.
Yep.
Very nice. And so, what are some steps you're gonna do to hit that 10 million?
Again, just narrow the focus and just make sure that I'm not getting distracted by other things, outside the podcast. That's not a distraction. It's an added bonus. No, no, just like staying focused and doing what I need to do every day, being consistent.
Okay. Any more little examples? I mean, what's a typical? Run us through a quick day with Alicia. Let's wake up in the morning and go through the first few hours at least of the day.
Sure. So cold call in the morning. So from 9 to 11, reaching out to those FSBOs and expireds. And then social media is a big portion of my afternoon, and then follow-ups.
Okay. So.
And then on the weekend is open houses.
All right, yeah,
Yep.
we're real familiar with that. Well, one of our last shows, the one you actually, we couldn't get you into the studio on, we had talked about kind of like the 7 biggest lead generation tools out there, activities out there that we can do. But open houses was probably, it ranked number one on our list. So
nice.
Listeners can go back and listen to those. We had all the 7 on there. They were pretty good. So, well, cool. Thanks for the information. Let's move over to Marshall Tucker real quick. Marshall, you're a part of my team. You're a part of the Keller Williams United group. Tell me a little bit about that. What's our day look like when we walk into the office?
I thought you were going to ask me what my goals were going to be.
We'll get to that. I know your goals. I guess I'm selfishly, I knew your goals, so I didn't ask you that question.
I would say my goals are to be more organized as I get busier. You get a lot more stuff to keep track of. So organization's always been my weak point. But as far as a normal day, up by 5:30 in the morning, get ready, get to work about 8 o'clock, I guess. Start checking emails and just kind of going through my paperwork, and then we hit script practice from 9 to 9:30, 9:45, and from there, after script practice, is getting on the phones.
All right. So who are you calling?
Everybody and anybody.
There you go.
We got our database, so just kind of going through the database and seeing people I need to stay in contact with.
Okay. So typically, does that include calling people that you met at the open houses the week from the weekend prior?
That's a little bit later. So lead generation is mainly kicking up new leads, looking for new sources of people to talk to. Prospecting, right. And then later on about 11:30, we'll start onto the follow-ups and following up with everybody from the open house, people I've spoke to before, that kind of thing. So.
Okay. Right on. Okay. And so, James, why don't you show us a little bit about your morning, the new guy. What's the new guy's morning look like?
Coffee. Sorry, James.
always talking to all the pretty ladies.
Scooting in at 9:30.
Oh, there was traffic. I'm normally the first one here. Normally, before Christmas.
Out saying, there's a car wreck today.
Oh, yeah.
There was.
Granted, he didn't know school started today because he doesn't have kids right now, but
there you go.
Yeah, no excuse.
Normally, before Christmas, I had a good schedule with working out in the morning. So I was in the gym about 6 o'clock, so I'd have about an hour or so of workouts. Get ready, then come in. We'd have power hours to do script practice from 8 to 9. Then come into the office, get coffee, do some more script practice with Marshall, and then we jump on the phones and start calling and emailing and messaging and just trying to reach out to all the contacts we have on Boomtown. And so my goal is to to start doing video, which I haven't done. I've been a little hesitant on doing video.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to exploring that.
All right. Well, you're right around the crew. You're around the right crew for video. We like to think that we took video serious a couple years ago, and ever since, I can say that honestly, it's helped our career out. But we'll touch on video a little bit later on. I'm dying for one of you to ask me about my goals.
Hey, Dave, what are your goals this year?
We've set our goals rather high this year. $30 million is what we want to reach. I believe that's around 135 transactions. 135 transactions, and that goes for buyers, sellers. I'm sure there's a breakdown there that I'm not, I've seen, but I can't really remember off the top of my head. Usually it's right around 50-50, and actually it leans a little bit heavier on the sell side, so I'm going to have my work cut out for me for 2019. GCI is somewhere in there of about $635,000 is where we want to be, and that's GCI, gross commissions earned. And I've set an income goal of $1 million for 2019. So that means with $635,000 in GCI that I can make from real estate, I have to go out and find some other type of way to make the rest of that $375,000, $365,000, whatever that is. So not sure how I'm going to do that yet. I don't know if we can monetize the podcast to help out with that. I really hope so.
We might end up robbing a bank.
So don't forget to like and rate give our podcast a 5-star review there. That will help out with my $325,000 makeup of my $1 million. So certainly appreciate that. Mornings, what do they look like for me is once again, like Marshall, up by 5:30 in the morning at Orange Theory Fitness by 6:15. Knock that out real quick, get home, try to post a couple things on Instagram, social media right there, then head on into the office, do the script practice role play with a few of the guys, then break into, mine's not necessarily lead gen and prospecting. I go straight into putting out fires for the sellers. We tend to carry around 10 to 15 sellers at a time, and so a lot of that's a lot of maintenance. So trying to help out my admin with contacting the sellers, giving them feedback, coordinating showings, and really working on my sphere to get us more listings for the team. So that's what my day looks like.
And for the record, I work out in the morning too. I just didn't talk about it.
Yeah, I totally stretch, work out.
Yeah.
My toothbrush, work out, you know. Coffee. Coffee curls.
Nice.
Very nice. So, you know, 2018, I'd say that we fell a little bit short of our goals. And what I'm seeing people do right now, in a lot of conversations I'm having around the office with a lot of new agents coming in, and I think a lot of our listeners are more of the newer agents, are if they didn't hit their goals in 2018, they're scaling them back. Let's talk a little bit about scaling your goals back and the dangers of that. Marshall, you seem to get a laugh out of you. Tell me about scaling your goals back.
But this means you don't want to work as hard, so
Right.
you know.
Or you don't believe in yourself, right?
You don't believe in yourself, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, or you don't want the disappointment of not hitting your goals,
Right.
Right.
Yep.
So I would say that you would have to increase your effort. I mean, I let me go on a little rabbit trail real quick, but I think increasing the effort is more important right now in the market that we're seeing kind of from coast to coast. There's a few little pocket areas out there that aren't seeing really a shift in that market, and that market kind of evening out some. But what we're seeing over here in Austin, Texas, is that, you know, if it took you 0 to 30 days to sell a house and get it under contract, you can pretty much double or even triple that. We're looking at, 90 days until we're starting to see some contracts come in, until we had a decent amount of showings. Showings have gone from, we're getting 3 to 4 showings within the first couple of days and receiving an offer. And I'm having properties, looking at it today, just look at the numbers, delivering all the facts to our sellers, is that we've got properties showing up to 37 times in the past 30 days that still don't have any offers, that are at market value or below market value. The offers just aren't coming in
Exactly.
like they were. There are pocket neighborhoods. There are caveats to that. There are little neighborhoods within Austin, Texas that might offer some schools that really the people are really after. They want that particular area. Those areas sometimes are still pulling the great offers and going under contract pretty quick. However, what we're seeing, that's more the exception to the rule. What we're seeing is just longer days on the market. Is that what you're seeing?
Absolutely. Yeah. All my listings have been on for a minute, unfortunately.
Okay. Yeah. So that is it's unfortunate. It is the market, but you really have to adapt and overcome.
That's right.
So I mean, what are you doing, to adapt to that?
Well, one, on the seller side, you just want to make sure that you are setting those expectations with your sellers when you take the listing, and make sure that they understand that we are not in the same market that we were in June, right? So setting those expectations, educating, and staying in the loop with your sellers, and then to compensate for, I guess, the slower market in terms of like turnaround, just putting in that extra effort, like you said, just to get more listings on the table, Yeah,
that's one thing I'm trying to express to the guys that are around me right off the bat, is everybody that's around me, is you're really having to take the extra steps in. It's not just about, what do we call it, Marshall, the 3 Ps, put it in MLS, put a sign in the yard, and then pray that it sells.
Right.
It's you actually have to go out and do the 4th P, which is proactively sell the property.
That's right.
And so what are you doing to get that, to, even if it's at 90 days, what are you doing? What activities are you doing? We're having to do a lot more work these days to really earn our commissions and earn what we said we were going to do, and solve the problems in front of us by putting in all this extra effort, whether it be
more video. Video
really does great, with anything like that. Ads on social media.
Yeah, creative marketing for sure.
Right, just all that good stuff. So we'll talk about the marketing here in a little bit. James, what are you hearing around the marketplace? I know you talked to a lot of new agents.
A little bit of their struggles as far as getting clients, explaining the processes that are what they're doing in the market, kind of fighting it out with some of the pushback from the clients as far as what their expectations are, and then how to communicate the changes that they're seeing. Some people who don't understand market is changing. They're still like, oh, it's still wintertime. It's like, well, kind of. And so just having, it's just more of the conversations that people are trying to have, and then how to, because they don't have the experience to have those conversations, or aren't reading enough to learn from the past of how people have been communicating these same kind of issues that they've seen.
Gotcha. Anybody have anything to add to that?
Nope.
No.
Cool. Let's kind of just keep moving on down the road. What's the next thing we wanted to talk about?
SMART goals.
Yeah. What are those?
Specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based.
You sound like you're reading off of a piece of paper.
I am not.
Except the one right
Do not watch the video.
Do not.
Right. Do not watch the video. Okay, so go over the first one. SMART. What's the S stand for?
Smart.
Specific.
So how do you define your goal specifically?
Well, you got to specify exactly what it is that you're trying to accomplish.
Okay.
So you can't just throw broad goals out there. I mean, we really want to know what your goals are, as far as, for instance, making calls, how many calls did you actually make, how many calls were answered, how many calls, how long did you stay on, and all that kind of stuff.
Right. Well, that goes to measurable, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Right. So, and then attainable. Is that what that?
Right. They have to be within your reach. It has to be something that I'm going to make $10 million, by tomorrow, which is probably not very attainable.
Right.
Unless I rob a few banks.
Gotcha.
You're all about robbing banks today. What's up?
Shh.
And the R.
Relevant. Is it relevant to us? Is the goal even relevant to what we're...
To you, to the business.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and then T is...
Time-based.
Time-based. Okay. And some people don't like the time-based thing is you can't put a timestamp on a goal.
Right.
However,
I think we are. 2019.
A couple different ways. People say, I think we talked about this earlier, was a goal without a timeline is just a dream.
That's right. That's on Orange Theory's wall.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
They have those stickers?
Yeah.
With the,
I'm usually gasping for air. Not really
I can't see that far. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm not really reading.
Subliminal messaging. They're just programming you in there. That's what they did the bold wall in the training room.
Yep.
You just get it through
Popping
osmosis.
it in. Bold. What's that?
Huh?
Yeah, what is bold?
Yeah, what is that?
What is that?
Is
Business
it
Objective Life by Design. It's a training with Keller Williams. Actually, they just did a little promotion for that today during our Recharge sales meeting.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
bold is powerful. I do love it.
It was fun.
I think we've all been to bold in here.
Yep.
I think we all have mixed emotions on it.
Oh. Talk about that.
Talk about bold.
Just kidding.
I know our next conversation.
Right?
To do or not to do?
So let me see if we can get a sponsor out of them real quick. I'll tell you which way I talk about them. No, so okay, where are we going next with this whole podcast thing? We got the SMART goals covered.
Your plan of action to implement those goals. So Keller Williams has the 4-on-1 and the GPS to actually dictate your yearly goal, your monthly goal, and then your weekly goals, which you should break them down. And so with your measurable steps, you're lining them out, and you call them in the military phase lines, but basically your progress. So you're lining out when you should attain these specific levels, and if you're not, then what are you going to do to change those? And you just keep adjusting, like the 15th protocol. So what you do on the 15th of the month if you haven't, if you're not on track to meet your monthly goals. So things like that.
So lining them out and also looking at them on a daily basis.
Yes.
Right. And then adjusting as you go. So if your goal is to have 50 conversations a day in real estate, and then you only hit 30, then tomorrow is 50 plus 20. Mm-hmm. So.
Rollover.
That's right.
It's like rollover minutes.
I don't get rollover minutes.
I just signed up for that plan.
When my phone account set up,
50 a day would be a lot.
Yeah, 50 days. 50 days a stretch. It can be done. You can go out and crush 50 calls real quick. But to new agents, where do they get 50 numbers?
Phone book, if you can find one.
Their phone book. That's funny though. We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
In one of the past podcasts was, it's one thing that I always start about with new agents coming into the team or into the market center and start talking to them. They always like, I don't have a database. And I'm like, hey, do you have a cell phone?
Exactly.
How many contacts do you have in your cell phone?
Right. I was going to say,
really a lead is that. Right?
Yeah. Right. I was going to say, starting with your sphere as a new agent, I'm pretty sure you know 50 people, whether that's family, friends, whatever.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, then you have Facebook. There's your CRM.
Yeah, absolutely.
It really kind of it can keep every note that you send somebody. If you start from A to Z, and I just started inboxing every single one of them and said, hey, Alicia, I'm a realtor now, and blah blah blah, and I really like to help you, with anything with buying or selling in the future or everything else, or have any referrals, please send them my way, and I'll do whatever I can to reciprocate a referral back to you and your business. And whether their business be, if they're a dentist, if they're, if they're a home cleaner, if they're whatever, we can definitely do business. That's the cool thing about being a realtor is there's so many so many things we can bring together. People always need us for something.
Absolutely.
Right? So they always need, when they move to town, who's your favorite pediatrician? Who's your favorite dentist? Where do you guys go for this? Who's your dry cleaner? And I don't think real estate agents get enough credit for that, really of kind of the connectors that we're capable of being, is kind of that whole network thing. Circling back to the whole database in your Facebook, right there alone, you just start dropping something to say to each of them. If you don't know what to say, there's scripts for that. There's the internet for that. You can reach on the internet. That's the era we live in these days is the golden age of information. All information's at our fingertips. So there's no reason any agent should fail in this business.
Agreed.
It's all about how hard you want to work, right? And so it's all willing to do, or really putting you in a position to do the things you don't want to do when you don't want to do them at a high level.
Yes.
Right? So
getting uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, I've said all those little things, analogies for forever to these guys. At least this guy right here. But
now look at me, I'm a shark.
Look at you, baby shark.
I'm a shark. I drive a Rolls Royce.
What's that? You have a house?
But get comfortable being uncomfortable. That's the things that they should teach you in this business coming right in. Like any broker that's trying to tell you and sugarcoat that this business is easy, that broker should probably be, really take a look at their game plan, because they would probably be able. The retention of agents would be their attrition rate would be a lot higher if they told the truth.
For sure.
Actually,
expectations are huge.
Set expectations of new agents coming in, help the agents, and really kind of you bring this up a couple times, like, hey, talk to me about a new agent, like, because I see my perspective is one way, and a new agent that was so long ago for me, so 5 years ago.
Oh my God.
But
I kind of remember, yeah.
it's I want to know what agents these days are thinking, because I know that I was a decent self-starter. I knew what I had to do when I first came into the business. I think we've talked about this once again before, but I made nothing that first year, right? So I made nothing in real estate, but I didn't have a broker that was telling me what to do. I just had somebody that threw me against the wall with all 10 other recruits, and they were going to see who stuck.
Kind of like the Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
What's going to happen?
And if out of 10 of those people, if you brought a family member, a friend, an uncle, a cousin, somebody you met at work at your other job that was going to do a real estate deal, that's all they cared about. The brokers work on a split. And so a lot of times they weren't really caring much about, our actual productivity. If you could make it a year, they know everybody fails within 2 years. So they have to keep the influx of people coming in,
right,
and coming in and coming in. And then doing that, I kind of got lost in the mix. And if I wasn't a self-starter, I probably would have been completely washed out.
Oh, for sure.
We all know that the second year, that I turned it around, I won Rookie of the Year. I loved real estate because I was, at the time, right about to hit 40 years old. And what other great career can you earn Rookie of anything in being 40 years old, right? So it was kind of cool. But, I knew after that second year in real estate that I was onto something, and I liked the business, and I knew that it was about getting in front of people, and nobody was going to call call me. No one was going to come beating down my door to sell real estate. I had to actually go out and find clients every day. And so that was one of the biggest ahas I had in this business was actually, I think it was after I took Bold, I started really realizing the potential of if I even did more of how much income I could actually have.
Right.
You know, and what that could look like, and then how many more people I could help. And that's what it's all come down to, right? Is helping people. I've said this 1,000 times. We don't sell anything in this business. Everybody's aware of that, right?
Absolutely.
Everybody that's listening, I hope you're aware of this. You do not in real estate sell anything to anyone. You help solve problems. You're a professional problem solver. That's all you are. They need to get here. You can help them get there, get to a closing. You can open doors for them, write contracts for them. You can do all the things that they can't do. Their ability really typically stops at search. We all know who won the search game. Zillow, ZTR has won the search game. So after that, where do they go next? It's our job to find them in that process. So I would go back to the 7 activities to get clients. Kind of went on a little tangent there. However, I think it was helpful.
Definitely. I just wanted to tap onto that tangent that you went on. So when you get into real estate or any entrepreneurial role, it is very important that you're self-aware. You have to know what you're good at, what you're not good at, what you need to improve upon, etc. If you know for a fact that you're not a self-starter and you're passionate about getting in real estate, then that's when you need to explore the team route. It's not necessarily don't get into the industry, just don't get into the industry alone. Reach out to a team member or team, and see if they're a good fit and go from there.
When would you recommend start exploring teams if you think you have a strong reasonable suspicion you're going to or desire to start real estate?
So if you are self-aware and you know that you're not a go-getter or a self-starter, as Dave said, then I would immediately get on a team.
How would you
before you run out of money?
Yeah. How would you find somebody who's what if they're not sure? What if they think, I'm pretty good. I like to do things. I like to explore, new opportunities and stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but you'd want to do that before 86%, right?
Right, and I think that's really kind of where that broker comes in once again. The broker that we're with actually takes that into account when they've interviewed so many people. Yeah. They've done a DISC test.
Yeah, they can vet you. They know.
Yeah, they vet pretty hard to see, hey, this person might need a little bit more than just being thrown out into the world of agents, the sea of agents here. And they might need a little bit of help getting there. And that's the thing too, is that a lot of times they have somebody that's a friend or a family member that used to be in real estate that aren't really aware of how real estate's changing.
Right.
Day by day it's changing. It's definitely changed in the past 5 years. It's definitely changed in the past 10 years from how we know it. And the mom and pop teams are kind of going to the curbside. I'll get a lot of people that disagree with me with that. However, the mega teams are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And
expansion.
Yeah, the big box brokers are getting bigger and bigger and bigger with the teams. And so it's harder for, not saying they don't provide the same value, not per saying that they don't have great work ethics. However, they're getting kind of like put in the shadows of teams with huge marketing machines.
Swallowed up.
Things like that, and really just kind of swallowed up. And so now the agents that have been around the market center for 5, 10, 15, 20 years and can do it by themselves, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I believe I could break off and make it by myself without my team.
Sure.
I'd like to think that. However, getting into the business, you're not signing on for life with a team.
Right.
You have to realize it's just for a year or two. And if that team provides you tremendous value, then stick with them.
That's right.
If they don't, if you just feel that they're taking out of your check and they're not bringing anything to the table and you're paying, you have your team agreement going on with them, terminate it. Look at the contract and when the date's up, get away from it. Or say, hey, look, I want to get away from here. You get to keep all these clients because they came while I was under you, and I'm going to go out and get my own clients. Break off. Do your own thing.
That's right.
So I've never. Marshall's taking a sit there like he's nervous. I don't want you to heed to that.
I'm trying to be
Marshall.
quiet and sipping quietly.
You should have heard him on the first time, like almost cramming the microphone and the drink. I'm like, all right, don't worry, no one's editing this at all.
Anyway.
But to go back to your question on how do you know that? James, new guy?
Because
It's all about goals.
Yes.
So you need to say, okay, so what do they advise you when you get into real estate? You need to have 6 months worth of savings.
at least 6 months.
Okay. So you need to set your first goal. If I do not sell blank
Yeah, and not 6
or help
months
blank families, then I know I need to pursue the idea of getting on a team.
because you should have an itemized list. Find somebody who understands finances if you don't, because most people don't have any clue about their finances. But you can break it down through your bank account and have somebody who is more financially literate go through it with you and line out everything you have to have paid, and money for food and gas and all the extra stuff for functioning, like what you legitimately pay every single month to survive, plus a little bit because you're going to be driving back and forth to the office, plus you're going to be driving to meet clients, and you're going to run out and immediately to chase down somebody who isn't going to buy with you anyway. I've done that a couple times. And so that times 6 and then a little extra is definitely your goal. I dived into the financial literacy thing and forgot the whole question. Mm-hmm. That's one of my little pet peeve things. How do you know? And then like growing.
It was your question, but yeah, I was circling back to it.
I want to interject a little bit.
You sold it. You sold the question really hard.
I was circling back to it. It's all about setting goals, which is the topic today.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So whatever your year goal is, and then chop it down, get your 6 month, and keep it on track. Mm-hmm. But you can, and not just, hey, I want to sell these many houses in my year or two, but how many is realistically attainable. And then talking to your productivity coach or somebody who's been around for a little while who will set a reasonably attainable goal and then push it out a little bit. Give yourself something to drive for and or strive for.
Perfect. Well, sounds good. All right. Well, we're going to wrap this one up about goals, and then we'll kind of double back and touch on goals a little bit more on the next podcast. But thank you, everybody, for joining us. Alicia Hooper, Marshall Tucker, James Mendez, Dave Snowberger here for Real Estate on the Rocks. Would like to thank our sponsor real quick, Guild Mortgage. Mike Harrell over at Guild Mortgage. You can find us at realestateontherocks.com. Any information on there, send us an email if you want to hear us talk about something or you have any questions for us. Give us an email over at info@realestateontherocks.com. See you next time. I'm out.
Bye, y'all.